Okay, hello everyone. I'm Paul Sprizzi. I'm the programming director for the Mammoth Lakes Film Festival, and I'm here with the filmmakers of our film. We're here with Andreas Resch. Hello.
Hello.
And it's Cordula Zielonka. Did I pronounce that?
Cordula.
Cordula Zielonka.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Sorry, let me mute my other. And I'm here with. I keep doing that. So wow, what a film. It was really great to watch it again.
Thank you.
I guess there's so many questions I have for you, but I guess just tell us how you first conceptualized the film.
Okay, I'm going to start, and maybe Cordula will take over. Well, it started actually with a character I had in my head, and it was the character of Flo, who was a totally different person at the time when I started the story. And I had some vague ideas in my head, and then Cordula and we met at a masterclass about, it's a technique that's called character-based improvisation. It's mostly associated with the British director Mike Leigh. And maybe you would like to say something about the method, because it's kind of interesting because we started improvising and thus developing our characters.
Yeah, we started improvising we knew certain very important characteristics also already about Marlene, and we took that and then used this method, character-based improvisation, to actually find out more about the main characters. And then actually we wanted to also use improvisation during the shoot, but we then realized it's important to have a script. So Andreas, when he knew a lot about the characters we improvised on, Andreas went back into the writing process, and then we got back a script to work on.
Yeah, so it was like a little bit back and forth, having an idea, working with the actors to develop the story, and then going back and write a totally traditional script where every dialogue sentence mostly is scripted. And that was a great process for us because we knew so much about the characters when I started writing the script, the screenplay. Yes.
Right. It's such a rich film. I mean, there's so many shots I want to ask you about. That sky you got at the Baltic Sea was incredible. The sped up film when she's walking through the streets of Berlin. Just the really interesting angles that you got. I guess how did the whole look of the film come together?
Well, yeah, it's a cooperation, I guess, between many people working on it. I mean, I had some ideas. I worked with a storyboard artist. Then when Matthias Grunsky, or DP, he's a really great, wonderful DP. He's been mostly renowned maybe for his work with Andrew Bujalski, for whom he's shooting all his movies, and he's a really, really experienced and great DP. So when Matthias came on board, I gave the storyboard to him, and he said, well, yeah, thank you, nice. Then, no, of course, he took it and he added so many ideas of his, and so it was like a collaboration of many departments to find the angles and find the look of the film. I think the most important thing is to communicate your ideas as a director from a very early stage. And we had some, like art books that we used, and the art of Francis Bacon, for example, was very important to me. And I showed pictures by Francis Bacon to Matthias to develop an aesthetic style. So yeah, it was a collaboration. by all the departments.
Great, great. So I'm going to continue to ask questions, but if anyone would like to put some questions, there's a chat below below the screen where you can enter your questions, so we can get questions from the audience. And before I forget, don't forget this film is eligible for the Audience Award, so make sure you vote on it. You can give it the number of stars you'd like to get. Hopefully a lot of stars. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, you know, how, like, the end. It seems like it could have ended in a lot of different ways, and just like the idea of her basically killing him with her bare hands in this kind of maternal embrace. How did that come about?
Well, you want to say something about that, because it also was like a collaborative thing, I guess.
Yeah, we had a lot of preparation for that scene, and Thomas, who plays Flo, and and Andreas, of course, we had also, of course, a lot of discussion, because, you know, like we were thinking about it might be a dance, and exactly as you said, it's a maternal embrace, and we had discussions about how. I mean, is that possible that she actually, you know, kills him with her bare hands, and of course, in this position, how they're like lying there, is that possible at all? But we then had this idea of a dance maybe, and of also kind of like an embrace, and
of a mother and
of
son.
a mother and son, and that was, I think, that was an image Thomas and I that was an image we could work with. And yeah, so this is how the scene developed and came to life.
It also had to correspond with the scene when he comes into her apartment. It's also like, it was one of the hardest scenes to shoot, actually, when he comes and he lies with her in bed. But it had to have a similar ambivalence, you know. The killing had to have something motherly, to show this crazy ambivalence in Flo's head, you know, which you can't really explain verbally. You have to find a way to show it in a way, you know, and that's what we tried to do.
And also, I think what we realized, that the decision to shoot it like it is now in the movie worked for all of us, and it felt like kind of a soft way to end this relationship, if that's if I could use that word, soft. So yeah.
Great. And I guess the other thing, I discussed this film with programmers, and I remember one programmer was just so infuriated that she kept the child. How did you decide on that?
Well, this was really a tough question throughout the whole development of the film, of course, because we knew, that this would, be something that might be discussed. What's important to us is, or to me, if one has watched the movie without telling anyone what to think about it, is there might be signs that the child is not Flo's child. There might be signs within the movie. I don't want to tell anybody it's not Flo's child, but there are, I think, strong signifiers that might go into a direction where you might figure out that it's not his child. And that was really important to us, because the message would have been might have been strange. So there are, I think, signifiers in the film that it might not be Flo's child, but I don't want to, spoil anybody's imagination.
Great, thank you.
And also the interesting thing, because when I got the script, it's interesting because this was also a thing reading the script, I also had in mind how how does this decision in the end happens. But in the actual shooting process and all, like when we go with her and also see the decision she takes or might not take, I think it's actually, for me, it was then congruent with her story that she takes this decision in the end.
Yeah.
But I totally understand that question and the thought about how is that even possible.
Yeah, yeah. We have a couple of questions from the audience. First question is, what happened to Ludwig?
Well, he died. Sorry.
Oh, wow. The other question is, the structure of the film is so interesting. Who inspired you, just in terms of the actual structuring of the film?
Mm-hmm. This is a great question. It's actually, I mean, I would love to find out what the scholars, the film scholars would say about that. But for me, what I really, really love is the storytelling of the New Hollywood era, like the films from the very late 1960s, like The Graduate or Bonnie and Clyde, till the middle towards end of the 1970s. This is such great storytelling. If you watch like films by Coppola and so many others, and what I like about this era is that they, even in genre films, they take it slow. They take their time to look at the characters and to develop the story atmospherically and slowly. And that was maybe one of my biggest inspirations, you know, to, even though it's a genre film, to take it slow, take time for the beach, take time for the cemetery, and to develop the characters. So structurally, I would think that was a great inspiration to find the right rhythm for the film. And yeah, also with the ending, it's a little different. It's hard to say. I mean, there are certain films who like, which take a direction that you didn't expect from the beginning, you know, to end somewhere, and you can't, if you look back, you think, how did I get here, really? But that's more like a, it's not one film that I would say inspired me to that. There's so many great films that inspired us, and yeah, I'm really thankful. So, I think the biggest inspiration was the New Hollywood era, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it also brought to mind Psycho, just for, I guess, for Flo's character, both Flo's character and the unusual structure to it. Did he look at Norman Bates as a reference?
Not consciously, I guess. I didn't watch Psycho, for instance, before we started shooting, but I think it's definitely has been an inspiration. Looking back, Psycho, because you mentioned it, is also a film who's like in the middle. It's cut and then something different starts. And I think, if I remember correctly, it is one of the early films in film history which did that. And in Marlene, of course, we do it much later, and it's a little bit different. But of course, Psycho is such a great inspiration in so many ways. Definitely, yes.
Cool. Another question from the audience. The opening is interesting because no one speaks until Flo says hello, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Lots of tension from the beginning, Hitchcock-like. And I also wanted to ask you the very opening shot. I thought it was the shot in the train where she like, this stranger is kind of checking her out and she's ingratiating with him rather than just push, like cutting him off. So can you talk about that?
Maybe if you want to say something about that.
Yeah, shooting the scene, it's interesting that you say, Paul, that he is actually checking Marlene out. And shooting the scene, we were, Christian, the actor, and I, and also Andreas again, of course, we're talking about what is he actually checking her out? No. Or, you know, it's a beginning of, or might he be seeing a woman and actually asking himself, where is she going? What's, you know, just having questions about her in his mind. And so this is for me also very interesting, that I think you might be able to see the scene in different ways. So you can see it as there's the stranger looking at her, as, you know, like checking her out, or is it maybe even like a foreshadowing of something, like is it someone looking at her thinking, where is she going, what's, you know, it might it also have like this soft foreshadowing touch. And and as you say, she lets that happen.
So yeah, we wanted, if I might add that, we wanted to introduce the theme of the film in a interesting way. We wanted to introduce the character, and Cordula said everything about it already, that she's a little bit an ambivalent character maybe, and she sends out maybe ambivalent signals a little bit, and we wanted to introduce that in a fun way, and also like have the first shot of a character that will then not play any role in the development of the film. That was just, you know, an idea, because there are some films which do that, and I always love it because it kind of, you know, takes you to a place where you think, did I miss anything? Where is this guy? He's not there anymore. Yeah.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about the locations, and in particular the room that she's that's such an interesting set for a room where she's locked up?
Oh, the room where she's locked up. Yes. We shot most of the film in Berlin or the surrounding areas, and that part we shot in Bonn, which is used to be the German capital, the Western German capital before the reunification. Because we found the perfect room there. It's actually the cellar of the house of Cordula's parents.
Of my grandparents, of my grandparents' house. And this was also very strange for me, because it's a room I know since ever. And then everything was prepared for the shooting, and of course I knew the scene, but I haven't seen the room before coming to the shooting, not as it was prepared then. And that was also a strange thing, to have this room I know since my childhood being now this chamber, cellar, cage. So yeah. And
they had the grandparents, they were dentists, and they had this dental equipment stored there, but it was like really old dental equipment from the, I don't know, 1940s, 1950s. And dental equipment is scary itself, but the older stuff, it's like really heavy metal things. And we used some of those when Marlene is looking out through the keyhole. You can see some of this dentist's equipment that we put there. So it was an inspiration, the location. We always try to use the locations as inspirations for shooting. Yeah.
Nice. Guess we had one more question from the audience. They said, great cast. How did you manage that process, the casting? And I guess tell us about your actors.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Cordula, of course, was in the project from the beginning. We developed the character from the beginning together. So our working together kind of ignited the whole development process. Regarding the other actors, it's a mixture. The main the other main characters, Flo, played by the great Thomas Clemens, he's an actor from Vienna. Luisa is played by Anne Weinknecht, who's a great actress from Berlin. And Valentin Schreier played Ludwig, also an Austrian actor. We have many Austrians in this project. And those guys, the three other main characters, so to speak, I cast in a kind of typical, or for Germany, typical casting process where I looked at very many tapes. You can find all the tapes online on certain websites where the actors upload their material. And I looked at so many actors and discussed with my great casting agent, Greta, who helped me immensely to find the characters. And the minor or the secondary characters, the characters that the supporting roles, I mainly cast with friends. Matthias Schott, who plays the brother, is a good friend of mine. Ottokar, who plays the dentist, is a good, the doctor, yeah, I'm still in the, with Cordula's grandparents, who plays the doctor is a good friend of Cordula's and mine also. And the person who changes the locks actually is Cordula's real life father, who did an incredible job, I think.
What about the mother? She was incredible. What an incredible face.
Yes, it's maybe you can say a few words about Gudrun.
Yeah, it's Gudrun Gundelach, and Andreas also casted her in a common casting process. And the minute Gudrun and I met, we met for a coffee to get to know each other and to see if we could work together, and also if that would fit as mother and daughter. And we kind of clicked very, immediately. And she's a known actress here in Germany, and so I knew her work anyways. And so yeah, I was very happy that we got Gudrun to be in the movie. And yeah, and it was a lot of fun, especially that scene with Ulrich, who's playing the father, and Gudrun. We had as strange as this scene is, and as strange as this relationship between her and her mother and the father is, but the shooting day we had was a great day.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really love about the film is like you get the sense of the richness of the relationship between the mother and daughter, and it's in this very short scene. It's just I think that makes sense, like what you said about going slow and being inspired by the golden age of, or the 60s and 70s Hollywood films. Yeah.
And also, if I may say that, because Andreas actually took really took a lot of time to spend time with the actors, and also gave us as colleagues in the process a lot of time to actually really get to know each other. And I think that might be also part that that you actually see then characters who hopefully are in touch with each other, or who have a history together. So yeah, that was a special process.
Awesome. I could just talk to you guys all night about this film. I'm going to take one more audience question. And how did you choose that Marlene's vocation was art restoration?
That's a good one also. If I remember correctly, when we were starting the development process, it was part of that to develop the whole biography of the character, like what are her parents, what are her parents doing, where are they living. You go like 1 or 2 generations back, we knew all about the grandparents. And during that process, we came it somehow came up and it felt right, if I remember correctly. We knew it from a very early stage on, and Cordula then did internship at a restoration place in Berlin then, right?
Yeah, and somehow in the process of developing Marlene's character, we were, and in the when she is having a coffee or a drink with Louisa, she's also she talks about her history, and she says that she actually started out to study fine arts, and we were thinking about that, or realizing that she is doing something
with her hands,
with arts, also like in fine arts somehow, but somehow we realized, but that might be too pretentious, or then this is such a huge thing, and then we came up with this restoration thing, and I was able then, or Andreas organized that I could actually do an internship here at the Staatliche Museen in Berlin,
where Marlene really like works in the film.
And also, if we don't have this whole process in the movie, I actually got to know a lot about that profession, and also, of course, Andreas then, or me too, we were inspired about how could we actually set that up as a scene, that you get an image or an idea about her, about the surrounding and actually space that she is working in, but of course that is also part of her life. So yeah.
Well, great. Well, it's been so wonderful to chat with you, and what a great film. It's really, congratulations on. You could tell it was really a lot of work, and you put so much craft and heart into it, and it really shows. So, and thank you so much for having your North American premiere with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
thank you
much
for having us, and thank you
Yeah.
for showing our film and being so kind. And yeah, we are really thankful for that. Thank you, guys.
Well, good luck with the film. I hope it has a lot of success going forward. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And also thank you so much for watching. Thank you for having us.
Yes, for sure. Okay, I think we're gonna end the recording now.
See you guys later.